Change is hard. We resist it, fear it, and sometimes flat out avoid it. But what if we flipped that script and saw resistance not as an obstacle, but as an opportunity? What if the very thing you're pushing against is actually a sign that transformation is on the horizon? That hesitation, that tension, it's not just discomfort. It's an invitation, a nudge toward growth, a call to step into something new and to trust God more deeply. And once you start seeing resistance in that light, a whole new world opens up. So grab your tea, wrap yourself in something cozy, and let's dive in. And of course, my Find Your Inner Peace workbook on Etsy is here to support you. It's designed to help you cultivate mindful self-care, deepen reflection, and strengthen your self-esteem so you can step into this new chapter with clarity and confidence. You'll find the link in the show notes below. Do you find yourself struggling with constant anxiety, stress, or burnout? Maybe you're navigating through overwhelming waves of sadness or darkness. Has someone allowed you to believe that you're unworthy? Well then, we're here to debunk those beliefs and help you to overcome them. Hello, my friend, and welcome to the Radiance from Within podcast, guiding Christian women to build their confidence and self-worth. My name is Heidi, and I'm so excited to have you here. We'll work together to help you overcome negative beliefs by incorporating prayer, devotionals, and journaling into your daily routine. Additionally, we'll explore the power of words and how they can impact your mindset and well-being. Because when you unleash your inner peace, you will find the desire and strength to spread kindness and compassion. Join me each week and unlock your radiance from within. Discover your power and strength and embark on a journey of self-discovery and empowerment. Hello, beautiful. How have you been doing with our extra devotional episodes? Are you starting to uncover those hidden beliefs? I bet you're starting to feel something shift. Maybe it even feels a little strange or a little uncomfortable. Well, guess what? That's a good thing. When you start paying attention to how you're feeling, why you react in certain ways, and begin to uncover the source of those feelings or even discover a solution, something powerful happens. The next step, of course, is change, right? And as you start peeking under the covers, if you feel a little hesitation or even pushback, that's change trying to shake things up. It disrupts our routines, pushes us way out of our comfort zones, and challenges how we see ourselves in the world. Now, I know we've talked about change quite a bit over the past year, but how can we not? We're all trying to step out of this cloud we've been walking through, a cloud of self-doubt, second-guessing, and low self-esteem, and yet our minds cling to what's familiar, even when we're frustrated, afraid, or longing for something more. Part of us still hesitates because to the mind, the familiar, even if it isn't great, feels safer than the unknown. And that's where the real battle begins. We feel a tightness in our chest, a knot in our stomach. A tiny voice might even whisper inside, "Go for it." But then that shadow of fear creeps in saying, "What if I fail? What if I'm not enough?" That's resistance. That's fear of the unknown, even if that unknown might be better than where we are right now. Still, my sweet, we must face it. We must meet resistance where it stands and walk through it. Because resistance isn't a stop sign. It's a nudge, an invitation, even a doorway. So what if instead of fighting against it, we saw resistance as a gift? What if that hesitation, that discomfort was actually God's way of preparing you for something greater? But, as I said in the beginning, change is hard. And of course, you're not alone. I've felt that resistance firsthand. A few years back, I was laid off from my job along with many others. At first, I shrugged it off, thinking, well, this is inconvenient, but I wanted to leave anyway, so here we go. While searching for jobs to keep myself busy, I started Rise, Love, Live that following spring. Just a little blog to keep myself busy. It was a tiny what-if seed that was on my bucket list, but in my mind I was still focused on finding a, quote, real job. I sent out applications. Actually, application after application after application. There were so many applications. A whole year went by and nothing, just silence, except for one amazing interview where I thought, this is it! But then it wasn't. Crickets. I realized in that uncomfortable moment, I had a choice. I could stay stuck in that frustrated mindset or lean into the only thing I had left, writing inspirational articles and creating motivating posts. Flash forward to today, I have an incredible career as a writing coach and editor. I get to do what I love and I get to spend time every week with you. That season of resistance taught me something huge. Resistance is often rooted in fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of losing control. But on the other side, growth, purpose, and new possibilities I never could have imagined. And I'm not the only one who's felt that. Moses resisted too. When God called him to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, his first response wasn't courage. It was hesitation. He doubted himself, his ability to speak, even his worthiness. He tried to talk his way out of it, but God wasn't asking Moses to have all the answers. He was asking him to trust. Or take Jonah. He ran in the complete opposite direction when he was called to something bigger. He resisted so hard that he literally ended up in the belly of a whale. But even there, in the darkness, he wasn't forgotten. The plan for him was still unfolding. Maybe you're in that place right now, wrestling with change, feeling like you're not ready, not equipped, not sure where this road is leading. But resistance isn't the end of your story. It might just be the beginning of something bigger. So let's sit with that for a moment. Have you ever noticed how your body or mind just pushes back when change comes knocking? That resistance isn't a flaw. It's a signal, a sign that something deeper is stirring. Instead of shutting down, what if we get curious about it? What's really happening underneath? Ask yourself, what am I actually afraid of losing here? What is it about the change that feels so uncomfortable? I've discovered how we frame change in our minds makes all the difference. When I catch myself seeing change as something looming over me, I pause and ask, could this also be an opening to something I need? Now, I won't pretend, not for a second, this shift is easy. But even just creating a little space for reflection can make resistance feel less like a battle and more like an invitation. And of course, I could sit here and give you a nice, neat little checklist of steps, but honestly, your path through change is yours, and it won't look exactly like mine. Maybe you need to journal and untangle what's really behind your hesitation. Or perhaps taking small experimental steps works better than diving in head first. Or you like to process change best by talking it through with people you trust. There's no single right way to walk through resistance. It's messy. It's uncomfortable. It can feel like trying to run a marathon when you've only practiced walking to the refrigerator. But here's what I know for sure. Every time you lean into that discomfort, even just a little, you build the muscle that makes the next change feel less daunting. So what about you? What has helped you work through resistance? I'd love to hear what's worked for you. Truly, drop me a note or leave me a comment. And this week, keep this simple question running in the back of your mind. What's one change you've been resisting, and what might happen if you saw it as an opportunity instead of a roadblock? Take a moment to pray on it, journal through it, or talk it over with someone you trust. And when you're ready to work through these pivotal moments, my Life Design Workbook will help guide you. Find it in my Etsy boutique. The link is below. And remember, my sweet, Sometimes the change we resist the most is the very thing that leads us to where we're meant to be. Now, let's settle in for our prayer. Deep breath in and out. Dear God, thank you for walking us through change. We know that change is hard. Please help us to see that resistance isn't a wall blocking us, but a door we should step through, leading to growth, healing, and a deeper trust in you. Give us the courage to embrace the unknown, the wisdom to learn from our discomfort, and the strength to see how resistance is good. We trust you, Lord, and surrender our fears to you. And we lift all of this up in Jesus' name, amen. And until we meet again, beautiful, I believe in you. Now, it's your turn. Thank you for joining me on today's podcast. But before you go, a simple request. If this podcast has made a difference in your life, please leave a review where you listen and share this episode with someone who could use a little light today. Knowing my show has impacted your life brings me so much joy. Remember to explore my Etsy boutique to discover the workbook you need most this month. And until next time, my friend, ignite inspiration, spread hope, and dance with faith.